Okay, recording is started. So yeah, welcome to the community meeting. We're in cooperation with Stefan. So we're doing these community meetings, and yeah, Stefan will go ahead and tell you where he's from, what he's about.
Yeah. So my name is Stefan. I'm originally from Germany, but I live now also in Ecuador, in Ayampe, and I became interested in regenerative intentional communities a couple of years ago because I saw huge potential in them as the current system in which we all live in or connected in is pretty rigid in applying the right things. And I see huge potential in applying these alternative things. So like permaculture and alternative education, local economy, and all of these things, many more, local decision making as well as an important one, in intentional communities. So, and as I started to become interested in them, I also visited Fruit Haven, I think 3 or 4 years ago now. And yeah, as I started more researching about them, I found out that there's a huge failure rate of like 80 to 90% even of intentional communities. And I wanted to find a way or find many ways how to support them. And one outcome of that research and thinking about how it could help is ARCOS. ARCOS stands for Regenerative Community Operating System. And it is about the human structure. It's about how to prevent conflict within in the community, making implicit things very explicit, writing them down, sitting together, having a language, a common language within the community of how to define things, how to talk about things, how deal with things like onboarding new members, exiting members, um, how to deal with conflict, how to deal with power concentrations. And yeah, there's a lot. And I wrote all of this down in this ARCOS. I call it also the blueprint. It doesn't define any ideology. It doesn't tell you what you have to do, how to think. It just asks you, have you thought about this, and how do you want to define it? So I could share maybe quickly my screen of the mind map that I created in the beginning of our sessions. So we started a couple of weeks ago having weekly sessions. Actually, we ended up doing 2 sessions per week. And yeah, you see my screen now, I guess. So here I summarized in the top some information about myself, how you can contact me about EcoHubs, which is the online community that I created to create ARCOS and other things in a group in as an online community. I also added here some resources on the right side, and on the left side some channels how you can reach me or other people in our online community. And yeah, if we go down, what I did in the beginning to get all of this going, I took all the definitions you've already made. So you have a sovereignty doctrine, you have a contract, you have the bylaws. I used all of this information to see what you already have. And then I compared it with what ARCOS defines you should optimally have. So I put them both together and I called this a compliance test to see the outcome. And the outcome was roughly that, yeah, like half of all the definitions that would be optimal are missing. 7.2% were completely compliant, and the rest was like partially defined and could be improved. Then I found out, okay, what are the fundamental things? Because we cannot go through everything at once. So let's pick the first things that are most important. And I found 5 things that would be very interesting to look at first. And 2 of these things were membership states. We found out that there's or that there was a lot of confusion about owners and members and what they decide, what they are, if members are owners or owners are members. So to figure that out, we had a lot of meetings already, and I think we're in a really good point already that really goes to the ground of what the differences are and what the membership states inside of the community are. And also the roles. We also worked on that. We defined, or we looked at, what are the current roles for the community? What are people doing and contributing with for the community? And we wrote them down. We made a table. We can look at that later. So, and in the first meeting, we formed groups already to look into these two things. And we found out that there's a lot more to think about and to define. So this process took longer than initially thought, which is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because we're talking a lot and we're defining a lot about all these things that are coming up, that were unclear in the beginning. So then what else? Here's one example of how, I don't want to go too deep into detail, but I'm telling roughly what this is. So we put left the community governance and right the ownership and trustee model that you have. And we saw what are each group deciding about and what is the overlap of both. I can share the link again later if you want to read this more in detail. Might be interesting. And we also created this document here, which you might also have access to already if you've seen it in the Telegram group. We created this document with different tabs here on the side. And the first tab is about the membership states that we talked about. Here in the beginning, you can see what ARCOS says and how it defines what you should define with some examples. And then here in this box is our work, our proposal, what we've been working on. So the outcome of all our discussions. And the same here, we created a transitional membership pathway for current members because we identified that according to the documents that already existed, there is nothing that points towards owners being automatically members, but it was lived that way. So to bridge that, we created this pathway, which allows every member to be, to allow every owner to be a member for at least 1 year, unless they don't follow all of these processes that we are defining here. So if they're not following this process within 1 year, they're actually, according to the current documents, not members anymore that make governance decisions about living and cultural being on the land, but they're still owners, of course, and they will still be included in all decisions that are important to owners. So to move on, here are the roles. It's the same document, just about the roles. Arcos defines what's important and why. And then here's the outcome, this table until here. Then we defined what participation in governance means. That's our outcome for that, how we make it measurable, because that's one of the criteria of the transitional membership and also a criteria for trial members to become members. If I'm too fast with anything, feel free to interrupt me to ask questions. It's okay. And the last few sessions, we talked about email proposals, how we update everyone, how do we include more people into this process, because we all are now, I guess, agreeing that this is very important and a community should ideally have participation in this process. So we're talking about how to include more people, how do we update them. And we also have a list of things that we would like to define in the future, so nothing gets lost, and also a to-do list of what we want to do in the next meetings. Okay, now I stop. It was a lot of information, but if you have any questions, let me know. and we can discuss them quickly, or we can do it after the call as well.
Yeah, I have some things to say, like from the perspective of that I can imagine, like Malcolm has, and like we all have, like this with the owners were of course like automatically like a basically full members with full obligations and decision rights, and all these kind of governance rights. But with this we have been working on kind of clarifying what is what really, and also separating, like a formalizing the separation of being an owner and being a member. Like it was also said before that you can be a member of the community, but nobody really was without being an owner. But so we want to make everything just clear and clarify everything so that there can be less confusion, and that um, people can basically be owners still, but choose to not be members of the community in the same way, where we make these kind of community decisions. I don't even have any good examples now, but how to kind of manage daily life there, and stuff like that. But of course they would still have like a voting rights when it comes to things affecting them as owners, like infrastructure, like roads and water systems, things like that. And also of course have obligations to pay to um, budgets going towards those things that they are connected with through their ownership, but not necessarily paying towards budgets that are for just the community and the community life, so to speak. So we have started kind of defining all these things and separating, and it's we wanted to invite people and give like an explanation. I guess that will not be this meeting, because if, we would have to plan that more, invite them, everybody, and plan, and so that you guys can kind of have a proper uh, run through of this and explanation and everything, and where you can also ask the questions to clarify anything that is unclear. So yeah, I don't know if I missed anything, or if Boris has anything to add to this.
That's a very good overview from Stefan and Rob. And I see that also Nick and Nicholas joined. Just to update you guys, I guess, if it probably makes sense that Stefan was just going overview for Malcolm's first meeting here. And I guess he wasn't in the group, so maybe he didn't see all these previous meetings. And yeah, I'm not yeah, what you meant, Rob, that we could do a run through. I think that is a good idea. Maybe we only have Malcolm, but still, it's good to hear if he's got any thoughts or questions on what he saw so far.
Malcolm, are you there?
Well, if not, then maybe Nick or Nicholas or anyone else that wants to comment or question.
Okay, shall we jump into our daily business? what we what we started last time. Maybe we can just hook in there and continue. What do you guys say?
Hey guys, how you doing? Sorry, I'm just listening in today. And sorry I'm late. Question was the I know I'm coming late, but was the breakdown given to Malcolm? That's here.
No, not really. Just like a presentation of kind of what we are doing. But I guess there's no use giving like a proper presentation until we have that actually planned for a specific meeting and have, you know, at least a couple of or a few people kind of joining for that.
If you guys can send some kind of written thing or something I can look at later, that'll be good to give me a better idea what it's all about.
There's a big document. Like you see, there's like several points that are there already. You have access to it. We can send you the link again, I think.
I can't get on my computer right now. I have some things going on there, but I'll have to look at it later. All I've got is a cell phone right now.
Okay, I'll show you how to find it. Yeah, it's basically just pinned in that community meetings topic of the group, the public group. And I could send it to you later if you'd like.
Yeah, that's good. I'm right in the middle of some work. I can barely concentrate. I'll have to look at it later.
Later is fine. So in the meantime, I guess, yeah, is there anything else? Any thoughts? So Nicholas hasn't said anything yet. I think, yeah, since this is being recorded and we'll publish it and everything, so maybe we could just still go ahead and kind of look over things, see what's kind of left, what we might have doubts about or questions.
I would like to ask something. I see on the document the word community, and I'm wondering, does it refer to a specific community of Fruit Haven 1, Fruit Haven 2, Fruit Haven 3, or the word community means Ecovillage? I'm a bit confused with that because Fruit Haven, it's an Ecovillage, I understand. So yeah, what does the word community mean there?
Community could, as far as I see it and have understood it, like would be either Fruit Haven 1 or 2 or any other that choose to adopt this proposal and this like clarification of states and roles and all that.
So that word, the community, it doesn't refer to the governance of the communities of Fruit Haven 1, 2, 3, of the communal areas that, like in the past, people will go and volunteer there and stay there, like, or it means the whole owners of Fruit Haven 3, or like the whole thing. What does like it refers to?
It refers to the whole thing. So that could be Fruit Haven 1 or Fruit Haven 2, for example. It does not refer like when we're referring to community area, for example, that will be spelled out like community area, but we haven't really gotten that far in these documents.
Yeah, how I personally see it is that what we're doing now defines the way how to live and to make decisions on the land. And now the question is, what is the land? And I see it currently that way, that it counts for, as Rob said, FH1 and 2, but it's kind of a template that all lands within the Fruit Haven community or Ecovillage could use and also make changes on top of it and adapt things. That's how I see it currently. But as Rob also pointed out, we haven't gotten that far. I created this point here on the mind map to define exactly this. So what it means and for who does it count and who wants it. who wants to adopt it.
Yeah, that's a good
Should I
question.
put these other things with the water, or should I get some tea? Still eating, huh? Yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
Nick, I think your microphone is unintentionally unmuted.
Oh, sorry. I think there was a drop of water that fell on it.
Yeah, I just wanna respond. So Nicholas gave a good question here, and we have this fragmentation tab that Stefan added, and it's still something that we've been thinking about, and I don't think we really have a total solution. Like maybe this community aspect is overall, because we only have one website and one social media, that's Fruit Haven, and doesn't have the 1, 2, and 3. So those are just separate properties, but is it all kind of one idea? Of course, each property will have a different set of owners, and then each have a different budget. So it's kind of like a sub community, as it's written in that fragmentation. So then the owners of that specific property will have different things that they deal with, but then maybe the overall governance might be like sort of one umbrella community. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Good thoughts.
So in that sense, Boris, that could maybe be closer to the eco-village than instead of community.
Yeah, I mean, an eco-village would be a community. That's just kind of matter of how you use the words. I mean, Fruit Haven as a whole, yeah, you could say it's fragmented, no, but there are different kind of Fruit Haven projects, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, but and it has always been separate communities or separate projects, the 1, the 2, the 3, and so on. But we were kind of communally or unified in the representation of Fruit Haven as a whole. But it was always these different communities, and these different communities, like a 1, 2, 3, they are gonna have to see what they want to do with this. Now we're basically just setting up like a clarification, a template, how we see that things could work, and we will go forward with this, and then each community would have to decide if they want to adopt this or not, and how they want to adapt it, and what kind of bylaws they want to have, and so on and so forth.
Maybe I would add that each community, like FH1, FH2, FH3, FH4, FH10, also use the shared resources and the promotions. And so, for example, we communicate through the emails. So we use the email channel, we use the YouTube channels, the Instagram channel, the website channel. So these are all channels that are Fruit Haven channels, but they are utilized by all 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever fragmented part 7. So it is for all of Fruit Haven, in my opinion. And of course, the adoption, I guess, needs to be well, voluntarily, I guess. What would be the proper way of putting it? Each one of each fragmentation is responsible for its for its future, I guess.
So from my understanding so far is that Boris seems to understand this document that is being prepared or is more related to the whole Fruit Haven Ecovillage, and maybe also to unique also most likely. I think you understand that, and I think Bob is thinking that this document is more referring to separate Fruit Haven 1, 2, or 3 sub-communities.
All the sub-communities, Fruit Haven 1, 2, 3, and so on, are structured in the same way with the same bylaws and everything, but they are separate communities. But what we're doing now is kind of clarifying what that really was. Like we haven't actually done much new. We have kind of clarified it and put it out in a different way so it's easy to understand. And of course, maybe some new things and parts with the roles and stuff, and about the memberships and ownerships and how it is defined to be easy to understand. But then for this to be applied, like we're not doing anything now that will be pulled over the heads of any members of any Fruit Haven community. Each community, 1, 2, 3, and so on, will have to vote if they want to adopt this way and kind of this clarification of roles and membership states and ownership and whatnot, and how the community is supposed to be governed and how decisions are made and what rules apply and all these things. But each separate Fruit Haven community will have to vote to adopt or adopt in some version this thing that we're working on now.
Yeah, my whole point I think is maybe worth clarifying. Yeah, like if it's more about the different communities or more for the eco village, or where the word eco village can go in that document. As from understanding, Fruit Haven is an eco village. That's how it's been, in my opinion, advertised and displayed to the world. An eco village with multiple different sub-communities. So I think on that document, I don't see much clarification on that.
No, but I think that's kind of irrelevant at this point. That what you're talking about is like the image to the world of Fruit Haven, and that has been like represented by one web page, one Instagram, Facebook, and stuff, and people have been putting out materials and representing all of Fruit Haven. But that is one thing. This is the governance, what we're working on now, like a kind of completely separate from that in a way. And the representation could potentially still be done, jointly, like you have an interest organization basically that put out a public image of these different Fruit Haven projects or whatever they want to be named in the future. But that's kind of irrelevant at this point. Like we're just working on a system, like a model template for how to govern and how to organize things.
So what's next? It's I believe it's the roles that we have to go over.
Yes, we can go over the roles. There are still some things that need to be defined. Like here, this one needs definition. Here, I see a lot of needs definition. Placeholders, we can go over them one by one. We can talk about these green parts, which I think Boris added in here, or it was me even a while ago. And we can see if we agree with them or not. Sounds good.
I wanted to add something that I reacted to before, and interrupt, is this needs definition. That's cool. That's very good. It's very clear. But in some places, you have put in red like a to be defined TBD. But TBD normally is short for to be disclosed, and so that could kind of, if people think that it means to be disclosed, that could mean that something is kind of secret, it will be disclosed later or whatever. It's better to just write needs definition or something like that.
Okay.
Otherwise people might misunderstand it. Simple
Okay.
thing, but
It's quick to change. Mm. Okay. Okay.
do you guys all agree with that, or do,
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. If you think that's more clear, that's fine.
Okay. Shall we then go through these points to define them? So what would be the first one? The limits of communal finance accountant. So as an example, we have here the financial bookkeeper has no limits and can operate within the defined purpose, which is data entry, income and expense tracking. So nothing outside of it. What are the limits of a communal finance and accountant? The purpose of that person or that role would be to the continuous documentation of finances, cash holding, communal treasury management, and yeah. So what would be the limits? Also, none can operate within the defined purpose. Maybe we can also add number one, but I think it's only about documentation. Anyone? Anything?
guys, I just wanted to say I'm gonna have to log off. It's getting a bit late here, but I will really try to read up on all the documents and stuff this weekend. So be ready for Sunday and check what you have done then.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Rob.
All right. Good luck and have fun.
Thank you. You too.
Have a good one. Yeah, I'm not sure if so communal fine. Yeah, right now. So if we're talking about an overall or each community like property has their own, I'm not totally sure if that's uh something that we have. We certainly don't have it at the moment, so I'm not sure.
I would focus now only on Foodhaven 1 and 2, and then we will define later how other communities inside of Foodhaven can adopt this or change it. I see this as a template for other communities inside of Foodhaven, and they just override what they want to change. If that makes sense. Okay, any ideas, anyone? Or opinions? How it could be?
I'm not getting it. I don't know. Maybe Nick.
What do you mean you don't get it? Is there something that needs clarification?
You mean from the focusing on program 1 and 2?
Yeah, just what we're talking here, communal finance. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What are the limits?
Okay, yeah, to move on, I would propose that we just use the same as here. In my opinion, it makes sense. So someone that documents all the finances and manages the treasury can operate within that, and nothing more. Just these two things they do.
Seems fair.
And they have the authority to approve any expenses. So if someone wants to, or if the community decides to make any changes on the land, for example, repairs, then they can give the authority with the balance and transaction of communal treasury, and they can grant spendings below $100. Two other managers. So managers would go to that person and ask for grants. And if that grant is below 100, they can just do it. Right? That's how I understand it. We have also this number 2 here. What does it say? This role can be taken by multiple full members. Not only one person can take the role. Ideally, there should be a minimum of 2 people taking this role. Okay. I also see we have here term length. The minimum is everywhere at needs definition. Maybe we can define if there is even a minimum term length. So if someone says, I want to be a financial bookkeeper, they need to do it for at least 1 month, for example. And that could count for all roles. And then we could pick out a few where this doesn't make sense to do it only for 1 month and override it basically and say, okay, this one is, I don't know, minimum 6 months.
Yeah, good idea to have some minimum. Yeah, could be 1 month or 3 months or 6 months. It just depends, I guess, on the role and what people are willing to commit to.
Exactly. So yeah, this could be a special role where a longer minimum would make sense, no? So this could be maybe something like 3 months minimum to even get the hang of it, to understand it, to get confronted with some things. Maybe 1 month doesn't make much sense here. So should we land at 3 months here for now? Nothing is ever in stone, so we can decide something now that feels right and that makes sense. And if you see in reality this doesn't make sense to you, of course, review it. You go in there and say like, oh, this 3 months that we put in there back then, there was a good intention behind it, but it doesn't make any sense. Let's make it at 6 months. So that's always possible, of course. So it's more about like what feels right, what is not dangerous, and what do you think? Yeah, if you don't disagree, I would just put in 3 months, and you can see if that aligns.
Seems fine, yeah.
Okay, then the selection method would be selected from members and merit. Okay, then the financial bookkeeper, that could be the same for now. If you don't disagree, I would just copy that in. I think that makes also sense. Someone that acts as a data entry, income and expense tracking. I think that makes sense to agree and to commit on this for at least 3 months, and after 12 months, they can be renewed, or they can say, I don't like it anymore, and someone else can take over. Then the selection method for the financial bookkeeper could be selected by members. Something else? Here we have a needs definition in there. Do we need something else there?
I can't think of it.
Okay, yeah, let's take it out. If we feel like in the future there should be something else, we can add it. What about merit? Should it be here as well? We have it in many places, everywhere.
What does that mean?
Sorry?
What does it mean, merit? I see. Oh, okay. Let me do a definition on Google here. Okay, quality of being quality of being worthy, deserving praise, or having value, merit. But it doesn't make sense to me. I think just the members sort of decide on the.
Yeah. Let's take it out everywhere now.
It's not.
Where we
Sure,
had merit, why take out merit?
Okay, let's stop.
I don't know. It doesn't
How do
make
you
sense to
understand
me.
it?
What is it? Yeah. How do you understand?
What do you mean? The definition of merit?
How does it make sense to you in this context? That someone is selected by merit for this role.
Well, it would be like, for example, on their qualifications. So, or how much have they inputted or timed, like how much work they dedicated to it. That's, I think that's worthy of merit.
Okay, you mean like if someone has been doing this for very long and they're pretty good in that, so they should continue doing that? They don't need to be elected or selected from members directly? They basically got in there by doing it?
Well, it could be like a role that wasn't fulfilled, and then you just gets picked up, and then just with continued input of work, getting experience doing it, and you develop a system, and there's I don't know. Is this merit to remove from just from the voting, but like it stays elsewhere, or I don't understand what was the point of removing it.
Basically, because we didn't understand where it came from and what the sense of it was. But yeah, how you explain it and what I think about it does make sense. What do you think, Boris?
I'm not totally understanding what it means, because if it's selected by members, how does merit select? Like, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. But it's not about voting, it's about the roles. So who is, selected by? It's selected by the members group.
I think it's just a different method. So this lists the methods of how someone could get into this role. So you could be selected by members. So you can say, I would like to do it. And there's maybe another person that wants to do it. And then everyone says, yeah, okay, you do it because I don't know, you're doing it better. That would be the selection of members. That's one method. And the other one would be merit. So as far as I understand it, it's like you've been doing this for a while, or you have the job and you just said, I'm going to do it now because there's no one that does it. And you continue and you do it and you get better and you just make it your job. And then it's appreciated through your skills and through your experience already. And there was never a selection. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's not the definition that Google says. It's like selected by merit means choosing an individual based solely on their abilities, qualifications, achievements, and competence rather than personal connections, seniority, or bias.
Okay, so it would be selected from members by merit or based on merit.
Okay, if selected by members by merit refers to a process where an individual is chosen to hold a position, receive an award, or attain a new rank based solely on their proven abilities, achievements, and competence as judged by their peers or existing members of an organization. I don't know, that word there doesn't make sense to me. It's confusing, but if it is there, then we need to put it like in the definition somewhere, further definition ideas or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can we say it with better words? Or Nick, how would you call this then? If we would say, okay, we want to take out merit because it's too confusing, how would you describe it in a different way so it makes sense and it covers what you would like to include?
Could you please highlight to me the column?
Here, this column.
You can say selected from members based on merit.
Okay. Would that make sense to you, Boris? Or you still want we can add here a number 3 and explain it below what merit means. And we change it here to based on merit.
Okay, so if we're doing from merit, they're similar. The second implies choosing from a pre-qualified list, selection from a merit list. In the government or formal recruitment from merit often refers to choosing candidates from a merit list, a ranked register of people who have already passed competitive exams or examination or assessments, sorry. The pool members, like hiring board, look at the top ranked individuals, the choice they select. Okay, so I don't know if this probably doesn't. Nominating commission model. Yeah, I don't know. This, when I'm trying to understand what is merit and what is selected by merit from merit, it's just confusing me. I don't know why we're using that word. It doesn't really make sense. Maybe I don't. Who put that in? Is that something, Nick, you put it in?
I don't remember putting it in myself, but I think we talked about it. What do you mean? What doesn't make sense to you? What if you put in a simplified definition? So so it makes it clear. Like you don't need to go through the examinations and things. This merit can be quantified in many different ways. It could just be through agreements as well. Like you want to sort of select for particular tasks based on people's skills. So I mean, merit seems appropriate to me.
So we could write it just like this, and we don't have the confusing word in there. Selected from members based on people's skills, or based on skills. No.
Yeah, and what if somebody doesn't have those skills, but they're willing to learn? But yeah, okay. I don't know. This is getting a little maybe too nuanced and rabbit hole and stuff. But I think keeping it simple and saying like it's selected by the members, and then just kind of moving on with the MVP. The more words that are kind of like nuanced, and I don't know who put that. Yeah, I still don't understand if it was Nick or Stefan where this word came from, but it's kind of like confusing. The more I research what this means, the more it's a rabbit hole, and then we're kind of stuck again. We're not moving.
Yeah.
I think like if we're defining things, the things that we want to be clearly defined, and so it's like, well, there's a word that I don't understand, and I keep researching, and it still doesn't make sense in this context. So I don't know. I think the easiest thing is to, let's say, remove that word and put it in the things, the to-do list, if it sounds like something uh, that should stay in, according to Nick. I don't know. How about we get other voice? Maybe we can ask Rob or Malcolm or.
Yeah, I think keeping it simple makes sense. No, this is what you want. No, based on skills or motivation. That's very simple. It's not limiting. It's pretty subjective, and I think in that case you might want to be a little subjective. So I would just copy that in everywhere, except you have a better idea or want something different, and then we can look at it in a at a later time again. Okay, then next thing would be here, the community area manager. Security around the community area, for example, cameras, acts like facility manager, needs further, needs further definition, needs further details here. Does it need more details? What do you think, guys? What's the purpose of a community area manager?
So let's see. Okay, so cameras act like what is it? Oh, okay. Does it need details? Security. I was thinking it's not just security, but like facility. Or wait, is that a different one? Facility. So kind of making sure things are working. You know, the water, the electricity, or is that a separate one?
No, we have only that, I think. We have the workshop manager, meetings organizer, social media volunteer, project manager, nursery manager, hospitality, and then only the CA manager. Yeah.
So maybe that could be something like, yeah, oh, it does say, yeah, facility manager. So yeah, it could include just examples like, electricity, water, those kind of basic things should be working, not just security. That could be in the future. We could have maybe a security manager as well, but they should also know. For now, I'll do that.
And general repair and maintenance.
Yeah. Does it say water, electricity, things like that? Yeah.
e.g. water. Yeah, like this. I would put this actually below. So general repair and maintenance, for example, water and electricity, and security around the community area. I think that makes it clearer if the order is different.
That's what I think makes sense.
Yeah, okay. We can also put this actually up to the top. That's even better. Acts like a facility manager, general repair and maintenance, for example, water and electricity, and security around the community area, for example. Perfect. And then the authority would be decide over regular quiet hours, when to do a cleaning, closing hours, areas for guests and volunteers, create proposals for bigger investments. Sounds good to me. What do you think?
I think it might not all fit. Like there's probably going to be a whole list of, so maybe it's just an overview. That, yeah, generally like over the community area, guests, things like that. I don't know. Yeah, I think, yeah, basically each one of these roles will eventually have their own, like, basically a document, like a contract or something.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, we should add that somewhere maybe. Just as an explanation.
We actually had some in the past already. No, you could add it, yeah. But I mean, like we had some contracts already. I don't know if I might be able to find some of them. Maybe, yeah. But yeah, in the past we've had them. But anyway, we just make a new template and decide, and basically like it'll include the minimum, maximum term, all that. It's like a whole page that'll define, maybe even a couple pages sometimes, like what the responsibilities are, expectations, maybe things like that.
Yeah, maybe it would be good to add exactly these points, these columns here, as a template for a new contract or form that you're talking about, or at least it should cover these things as well, so to be more clear.
Yeah, and generally they would have things like, yeah, the sort of expectations, what they would maybe get paid. I think this, what we're defining is kind of more a general overview, like the purpose, there are 30, the limits, the term length. Well, the term length would be defined, the selection method, it doesn't have to be in the contract because it's like, well, if we selected this person and we made a contract for them, and then all they have to do is, they sign it. We have an agreement, like, okay, they'll get, I don't know, could be a commission or stipend or something like that. And yeah, we've had that in the past.
Perfect. Yeah, I added it here. Good. Then what minimum term length should there be? Does it make sense to do this for 1 month, or should it be also 3?
Yeah, probably a minimum of 3. I can see that we could probably do most of them 3. Well, maybe some we would agree to have like a month, but still, if it's a management position, then we'd want something a bit longer term.
Yeah. So the hospitality manager would be also the next year with minimum missing. That would be also 3 months then, as you just said, no?
Yeah, I could see that.
Nursery manager as well.
Okay. Project
manager.
I think that could depend a little bit on the project. If there is a shorter project, say there's, I don't know, they want to do a planting something, it takes a couple weeks, get it done. I don't know. Yeah, it just depends on volunteer. I can help you, I guess, plug in the numbers.
Yeah,
I'm guessing it also would be a 3-month minimum. Social media, I don't know, maybe also could be less, but any thoughts on that, Nick, on these different managers?
That sounds good.
Seems reasonable to have 3-month minimum for pretty much, I think, all of them. A meetings organizer, facilitator. Possibly I could see being like shorter if somebody wanted to do only 1 month of it. Let's be different on one. No limitations. Okay, so yeah, I think we pretty much nailed all these.
Awesome. Then let's go through the green things. Here, the project manager, that's the first one. So someone wrote here already in project owner. Can we make that a little bit more clear? I don't understand it, for example.
That might have been
the
me.
authority, no problem who it was, doesn't matter. We can write, yeah, what would you write? The authority. So yeah, owning owning the project and the planning, the implementation of the project, guiding the implementation of the project, organizing. How would you describe it?
Where are we at? Oh, this one for the
Yep.
for the authority. Okay. Yeah, could be like a supervisor or somebody higher than the manager, I guess. Or owner, maybe. Yeah.
Organization of workers also, and project planning.
Oh, it's yeah. Okay, so who's authority?
Supervision of workers or work process. Something like that. No, you don't there. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's no, okay. I was just moving ahead, but yeah, I think that's good. Project owner, project planning, supervision of work process. Yeah.
Good.
Any thoughts from Nick? I guess we only have 3 of us now.
Yeah, also short heads up. I will also need to leave in a few minutes.
Yeah, I think that
we
we made good progress for today.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah,
But if you like, go on doing this. If you feel like it.
but yeah, it's good. I think we can continue. Should we do another Sunday one or just go for Thursday?
We could do Sunday. For me, it's okay.
Okay. How's it for Nick? Maybe you could ask in the group, see if Rob, he didn't say. Might work better for him Sunday, I think. But...
It would be also really good if someone could take that homework of creating these quizzes. I will add this to the to-do list.
Yeah, it probably
So it
wouldn't be
doesn't
too hard
get
with the
lost.
AI.
Yeah, it's true. But I think it should be in homework outside of these meetings, because that takes probably more than or just the whole meeting, and it doesn't make make much sense. It would be better to do it outside and then present it maybe to everyone in a meeting. That could be.
Yeah, it wouldn't take me long if I just plug it in, and I'm sure, I don't know, I haven't tried yet, but yeah, could be something. I think before even getting to that, yeah, I like that working on the other things that we kind of still have to finish. So the roles, I guess we're almost done pretty much. We have the main roles that we could possibly want to define, and then we have the transitional membership. Yep, that could be good. I think I was thinking one little thing, but I don't know. But I guess it's kind of okay. So just moving on with the membership states. And yeah,
there are a few things that need definition in the membership states.
Oh, okay. Which one?
Everything
Oh,
red.
okay.
Starting with here, the trial member, defined in trial member participation expectations. Okay, we need to do this. Yeah, that's what it means. If member only, none. No contribution requirements for active members. Okay. But I think this is, I think we need to go through this again.
Because yeah, we have the budgets for owners, and then it almost seems it's like a part of it. It should be like sort of unrelated, like whether you remember or not, the budget's an obligation. But then at the same time, if someone, let's say, didn't pay, we don't have an enforcement method, so basically it would exclude them from being a member. So that's one thing that could be a way to enforce the budgets. But still, people will, let's say, not want to be members and not pay the budget. So that's a reality we face.
Yeah. As far as I remember, we were just talking about if active members should also pay yearly fees or not, and it was very unclear. And currently, that's nowhere defined. That's why we said we will delay it, and we have it here in the further definitions idea table. Okay. So actually, we can take it out because it is already on the table. For now, it will be like this. I'm pretty sure, no, because there has been no definition about it in the past, and we're currently defining making more clear what was agreed on in the past. So this needs to go, I guess. No?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It can stay there. Well, I guess Nick also dropped out. I think that's a good time to wrap it up. But let's see if people want to meet Sunday or Thursday. Thursday's good too, once a week.
Yeah. Good.
All right, nice. Good progress. Thanks again for the longest, joined earliest and left the latest.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. You too. See you soon. See you Sunday.
Okay.
Probably. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yeah, hopefully. Bye.